Look at this. Just look at it. A tiny silver coin sitting right here in my hand. Small enough to lose in your couch cushions. Light enough to forget about. And yet, when you know its story, it feels like holding a piece of history. This is a 1966 British sixpence. And trust me, it's a lot more interesting than it looks. Now I know what some of you are thinking. It's just an old coin, worth a few bucks at most. But stick with me here, because this little piece of metal has a story that spans centuries, crosses 4 nations, and ends with one of the biggest changes in British history. Let's start from the beginning. The sixpence has been part of British life since 1551. Think about that for a second. This coin was around during the reign of King Edward VI. It survived queens and kings, wars and revolutions, plagues and famines. For over 400 years, the sixpence jingled in the pockets of ordinary British people every single day. Kids got it as pocket money. Workers got it as part of their wages. Brides had it slipped into their shoe on their wedding day for good luck. That tradition actually still exists today. The sixpence wasn't just currency. It was woven into the culture. And then came 1966. Britain was buzzing that year. The World Cup was happening on home soil. The Beatles were at their peak. London was the coolest city on the planet. And this coin, this little sixpence, was right there in the middle of all of it. But something was coming that would change everything. The British government had already started planning a massive overhaul of the entire money system. For centuries, Britain used pounds, shillings, and pence. 12 pence in a shilling, 20 shillings in a pound. It was complicated, confusing, and honestly a bit of a nightmare for everyday math. So in 1971, they switched to decimal currency. Simple, clean, 100 pence to a pound. And just like that, coins like this one became relics. The 1966 sixpence was one of the last batches ever minted. Production of the sixpence stopped completely after 1967. So when you hold this coin, you're holding something from the very end of an era. The final years of a monetary system that had existed for centuries. That means something. Now let's talk about what's actually on this coin, because the design is genuinely worth appreciating. Flip it to the reverse side and you'll see 4 plants intertwined in this elegant, almost decorative pattern. There's the English Tudor rose, the Scottish thistle, the Irish shamrock, and the Welsh leek. 4 plants, 4 nations, all coming together on one tiny coin. It's a quiet kind of symbolism, the kind you might miss if you're not looking. But someone sat down and thought carefully about this design. They wanted this coin to represent the whole of Britain, not just England. And they pulled it off beautifully. Around the bottom edge, the word sixpence and the date 1966 are stamped cleanly into the metal. At the top, you'll see FIDEF. That's short for Fide Defensor, a Latin phrase meaning defender of the faith. It's a title that British monarchs have carried since Henry VIII back in the 1500s. Still here, still stamped on coins centuries later. The obverse, which is the front of the coin, shows Queen Elizabeth II. She was in her 40s when this coin was minted. Young, sharp, at the start of what would become one of the longest reigns in British history. Now here's the part that always gets me. This coin is 60 years old. 60 years of existing in the world. And somewhere in those 60 years, real people touched this exact coin. A child maybe, running to the corner shop to buy sweets. A factory worker dropping it into a vending machine after a long shift. An old woman tucking it into a birthday card for her grandkid. We'll never know their names. We'll never know their stories. But this coin passed through their hands, and now it's passed into ours. That's the thing about old coins that no one really talks about. They're not just metal. They're connectors. Little time capsules that link us to people and moments we'll never otherwise reach. If you're new to coin collecting, British pre-decimal coins are honestly one of the best places to start. They're easy to find, they don't cost a fortune, and every single one of them has a story behind it. The 1966 sixpence in decent condition will run you maybe $1 to $3. For that price, you get 600 years of history in the palm of your hand. Not a bad deal. So the next time you come across one of these at a flea market, an estate sale, or tucked in the back of an old drawer, don't walk past it. Pick it up, turn it over, think about where it's been, and maybe, just maybe, add it to your collection. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Do you collect British coins? Have you ever found a sixpence? I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, keep hunting.